Ndiyabulela.
Thank you very much, team. So let me maybe start, and I'm not answering on behalf of anyone, Swamne. So, Olebu, and I'll allow, in fact, closing remarks from everyone, just to try and whatever they picked up, and Orashik and many others. I can tell you that that which you are trying to create, they are part of structures that are very action orientated. I'm privileged enough to sit with them on a daily basis. The fact that I'm able to deploy them and say, you are going, I never asked any of them to be on this panel, by the by. I told them, you are going to be here. They're like, okay, sure. I'm saying that I can do that because I know their level of thinking and how they think and how passionate they are about the country, about issues such as these. If I was saying, I've got a party, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be here. They would not, but because they knew about the importance of the conversations and these deliberations, they said that we'll sacrifice our Saturday, so that we're able to be, to be here virtually. So I'm saying that's the one in terms of the other thing, which I think we should be engaging on, is let's have a conversation around, you speak about Women's Alliance and those kind of things. Let's engage on what is the best mechanism to be able to get the same end result. Maybe that should be the question is, you look at the end result and then you reverse engineer and say that, is it a women's alliance or is it something else? Because I suspect that there's a number of forums, well, not I suspect, you are saying that there's a number of forums, what you don't see is the action. I'm saying that focus on the end result. And then we then say, let's reverse engineer to say that, okay, if we want to get here, what are those things that we need to do and which are the people and organizations that we need to tap into to be able to get to that? I'm certainly willing to help in that regard and facilitate, trying to find time in their diaries to try and have, because it's a series of conversations. You're not going to be able to do that. I'd much rather say, let me go with them with a structure where I say, I'm coming to deploy you. That's the language they understand. I do the hard work and then I come and say, it's well thought out, I'm deploying you, you're going to do X, Y, or Z, and then we move. So I'm offering that. In terms of the urban woman, in terms of that, and I'm not answering on anyone's behalf. I want to be the coordinating body, right? If I may call it that, so that we're not having too many conversations that go nowhere slowly. I'm saying that definitely, I'm very much willing to engage in that. The fact that, we're allowed for them to come and to display here is a show. It's not a talk shop. I don't do talking. It's either yes or no. If I didn't believe in ours, I would have said no. You can't come and display here. We don't care, right? But I said yes because I believe in it. So I'm saying that definitely, we are definitely looking or love the modern urban women concept in terms of the visual representation, which is trying to achieve. And we'll certainly, again, it's more engagements that we'll have. But again, we work from the end result. What are you trying to achieve? And then who are those people and who are those organizations that we need to then rope in? And how do we package that message so that we're able to get to that end result? So, Mr. Mtilwa said that if you are on time, you are already late. I think, if you are on time, you're already late. So I suspect we are late and not on time. So I think maybe what we should do is I'm going to allow for in this particular order, just for 2 or 3 minute closing remarks. If you've got a question that, a question that perhaps, that was asked that you feel that you would like to address, please go ahead, but it can't be more than 5 minutes. I'm being generous with 5 minutes. So let's start with Lebs, Rash, and then we'll go to the floor here, where Mr. Mtilwa and then Chief Troy will then take us home. So let's go in that order, please.
Okay. Thank you so much for those engaging questions. Levuka, I think for me, an artist's mind is a beautiful mind, and I think, I always tell people we all have different gifts, right? And the atrocities of women are incredible. But what I want to maybe say to you is, go to your quiet space and find that speaks to your soul in terms of women's struggle. It might be physical abuse, and you might be able to depict that. It might be anything from patriarchy, being able to visualize the power of men over women and how you depict women, or you could even choose the positive angle where you decide that you're going to start to show women in powerful positions so that women can start to reimagine themselves. You could even show a woman taking a weapon from their abuser. There's so much that you can do in that. But I think for me, it's the artist mind and this quiet space that you need to go to, and then decide then what it is that talks to your heart and what it is that you want to depict. People often say to me, how do you prepare for your talks? And I always say, I go into a quiet space and it's like I hear a voice. And from that voice comes what I write. And this voice then says to me, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's a beautiful process that I engage in myself when I'm asked to talk. So go to your quiet space and decide what it is that talks to you. But what comes from my heart is really finding those spaces where you can depict women in powerful situations and this beauty that lies within women. The second lady that was speaking, thank you for I could hear, we can't see the room, and I'm dying to see the room, but we can't. But I could hear in your voice and your passion. And when you said name, the name that you give your children, and I think it's so important. Bantwana Bam have 4 names each, and it's because my parents, both sides of the family, named the child. We named the child. Our husband gets named the child. And my first born son's name is Zikumbule because the father was like, remember your roots, know who you are. And my second born child is Zingwe Ntikayesizwe, like be proud, you're the pillar of the nation. So I believe in that and I practice that. Now moving towards your Women's Alliance, again, it goes back to what I was saying, that we all have different callings, and find your calling and be great in what your calling is, right? I'm part of South African Women in Dialogue. So I opened up African Women in Dialogue, which was the only ever event where women from all 54 countries in Africa and the diaspora were hosted. It was hosted under Zanele Mbeki Development Trust, and I led the strategy for the Zanele Mbeki Development Trust when I was still on my own and had my own company. So that is where I exert myself and assist other women. I also sit on the board of African Women in Energy and Power, where we just took 25 women to Turkey that are involved in the energy space, and we have tentacles within the whole continent in terms of different in the energy space for women, and that's where I feel called to serve from a woman perspective. And in this South African Women in Dialogue, you can Google it. We have sessions where we have healing sessions where women can come and they, we discuss the atrocities that women go through. We discuss the political side of women. We give women tools in terms of how do you take it forward if you experience these kind of hurts and whatnot. And even in the other position that I serve in within the South African macadamia industry, I am purposely serving within the transformation committee of the board, and that's where I also push in terms of like, okay, where's the woman angle in that? When we talk about giving bursaries in agriculture, I'm like, let's set quotas for women. So in the spaces that I'm in, I'm finding opportunities to serve women and to bring women together. So for me, the most important thing is know what your gifts are, and if you are called to start a women's alliance, don't be deterred by other people. It's your vision, and I would encourage that you firmly start walking towards that. And when you walk in authenticity, people will follow. So thank you for that, and thank you to everyone. Andile, thank you very much. Sabulela, the thing that you're doing might seem small, but it's not. It's conversations that we need to have as Africans, and as we speak, we then find wisdom. And, thank you very much for the opportunity. And Rashika, it was beautiful to be in a panel with you. Our similarities are uncanny. I'm sort of married to a Xhosa man, and they are also like very hectic in terms of the depth of their culture. So our kids also have Setswana and Xhosa names, bringing the two cultures together. So the similarities and, what I've chosen to do with languages, I've chosen to have a Xhosa nanny and a Tswana nanny, and we only speak Vernac at home for the children to speak Vernac. So, it's quite interesting, the similarities between when you merge different cultures, even if it's just, to local tribes, So I'd like to thank you for your wisdom as well. And I wish everyone a blessed day forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Lebs. Rash?
Thank you very much. Such wisdom from Lebo. I actually don't think I need to add too much more. I have to absolutely agree. When you speak to artistry in any kind of form, you speak from the soul. And I think my guidance to you would be exactly what Lebo said. Don't let it come from a script. Let it come from you. And if that means that you have to engage people that have been abused, women that have gone through the hardships that they're going through, people in the audience will probably share with you what it is that they're going through. Let that be your inspiration. Don't let it be second and tertiary. Let it come from what you encounter. It must come from your heart and from your soul. And for that to be the case, you have to engage with what that actually is. I also have no doubt that you will do amazing things, because it is absolutely, I must make the point, it is wonderful to have a man in the room as an artist who wants to depict the issues of what women are experiencing and what women are. And we salute you on that. You asked so many beautiful questions, and we can feel the passion and I want to say all these words, and none of them will do justice. I want to say the hurt and the anxiety and the anxiousness and the injustice and everything that you've experienced and you are experiencing it. We can sense it, we can feel it in your voice. Your energy resonates, all of it. And I want to say that is your fire. That is your fire that's going to help us and help others. Don't let that be don't let it be cumbersome. I might have said it. If he brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. And yours is too. So much wisdom. But the one thing that's stood out for me of what you said is why is there a gap here? Why is there a gap between men?
Rash, your network is criminal. It is really thieving away from.
No, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Oh, absolutely, we can hear you. It's thieving again.
Alrighty. Then in that case, then let. Oh no. Let me say thank you.
We got the thank you part. We got the thank you part. We got the thank you part. No, thank you, Rash. Mr. Mtilwa?
Thank you, Andile. Firstly, I'm grateful that you invited me into this gathering. One thing that I am going out with here is that let's start working together. Let's stop working in silos. By coming together, we make things easier. And that now my circle is bigger. Because as I was sitting there from yesterday until today, I had a mouthful. And I know that as much as I retired from the Department of Education, I'm still part of the community. So there's a lot that still needs me. There's a lot that I still have to do in order to see all what we were talking about in here, or our wishes coming true. Even if we will not be there by then, for our generations to come. So I want to say thank you so much, and I want to extend my willingness to be part of any of the gathering of this sort, whenever or wherever it is, because now where am I? Now I can have time to come and join the conversation of this nature. By so doing, it's growing me, as the saying says, "Funda utuyofa." Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, look, for me, I was brought up mostly by women, and I can say that in our community, women are highly valued in terms of their pronouncement on things. I know that in our community, if a man comes back with the money, he has to hand everything over to his wife if he's looking for peace. And then from there, I think colored women are quite known for that, just contextualizing that. But look, if I also just go back in culture, because I like to look back a little bit, because at the moment that's where we are. Within our society, it was based on egalitarianism, where a woman in our tribal councils, women sat in on them. You never had a patriarchal system where the men made all the decisions and they handed it down. And in most cases, it would be the woman that would have the intuition to actually give direction, because it was felt that spiritually, a women are more spiritual than men. And if you're looking for a higher power to actually give some sort of interpretative value to that, then the woman would be the person to look at. So there wasn't this huge patriarchy. Of course, men had their specific roles. He would go out, get the food, and defend the women and children physically. But other than that, when he came back into his home, the woman would actually be the boss. So what encourages me today, I'm a very pro-woman activist within the Khoi and San, where I feel women can also be senior chiefs, and they can also take lead roles, because in our society, men, through colonialism, they were not allowed to actually approach the powers. So if you look at it, when you say if you strike a woman, you strike a rock, it was actually the woman like Winnie Mandela, which was, I'm sure that she was greatly misunderstood, because people also didn't know that Winnie's mother came from my family. And she would have been then brought up with that ethos that, women must not shirk having their say, or trying to diminish them in stature, or in any way that's going to actually downplay them. And I think that I want to just end off by saying that I am glad to serve under women. I'm working very closely with Princess Fundiswa, and I can tell you now, I'll take leadership from her every day. Us men rush to talk and say everything, and then Princess Fundiswa just sits back and calmly interprets and, gives you direction. And I'm happy to work with her and any other woman that's of quality. Thank you, and God bless.
No, you may take a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the tail end of our program. I think it really, sometimes things work out in the way that they're supposed to work out without even us understanding, and really today has gone in a manner that I think exceeded expectations. And I say that deliberately, not because of anything, but in terms of the quality of the conversation and the engagement. I'm not sure if we would have had the level of richness in the conversation if it was separate sessions. I'm not sure, right? And perhaps it's something that we need to think about and make a resolution that says that, I think there is value, of course, in discussing things separately, but, in the shape and form that we wanted to do it today was going to be 3 hours, ebuhlandi, 3 hours, omama, and then we then come back for 10 minutes. Perhaps it's a case of there's an hour separate discussions and then a 2 hour, combined discussions like this, because certainly from my side, I feel I'm all the more richer, because I've been able to access the mind of brilliant, people, brilliant ladies, panelists and otherwise who have been able who've allowed me to ask questions that ordinarily I would not be able to ask. So I really want to thank all of you for indulging us over the past 2 days. I mean, we've had speakers galore. Over the past 2 days, we've had panelists, we've had, wonderful partners, wonderful partners who have really been allowing us to have a space where we can be creative. Today's agenda was only finalized maybe at like 8 this morning, and we've had iterations overnight. I'm saying that with partners that don't lead with the soul, they will tell you we are partnering because we want this, and we're not willing to move beyond that. I'm saying that I also acknowledge the partners that have gone over and above, over and above what you were expected to bring. But you said that you want to be part of this movement, this community, because you see the value of it. I must also acknowledge all the people that are online, who've been online for the past 2 days. Certainly we can feel your energy. We certainly can feel your energy. Of course, we are always very clear around 2 things. One is we are exclusive in who we invite to these physical spaces, because this is not something for everyone. We are clear it's for leaders with a soul. Now, not everyone is a leader with a soul, so we're very clear about that. And so, the people that are invited are people that we've interacted with, in one shape or form, and have identified that they subscribe to this notion of leadership with the soul. And secondly, the second principle is that we also want to make sure that we are not leaving anyone behind, because we could have had these situations, where there's physical attendees, but not spread the message virtually. So we also want to make sure that we're able to inspire our kids, our families, inspire the nation, inspire the continent, etc., etc. Yesterday, the theme was very clear, was around the Africa that we want, and Agenda 2063 being our guiding document. Now, it's in these kind of platforms where we spread the message that we are able to deliberate and get to those ideals that we want. And so in that, I'm saying thank you very much to our guests who are here, who joined us online and virtually. And last but not least is to thank you guys for being here consistently and being plugged in and engaging. I really want to thank you guys. We had a beautiful music rendition. If we had more time, I thought I was actually going to ask you impromptu to come, and I'm a deployer, I deploy people. Those that know me, they know which there's something that I think I was never taught. Please. I think please I was never taught. I was taught ask, not ask, no, instruct. I think that is my issue. So I deploy a lot, but it was a beautiful, and honestly, if we had more time, I would have said we're definitely going to do that. I must be mindful that we wanted to close the program at 1 o'clock. People need to travel. The weather's also not the greatest. So thank you very, very much. We're going to be having these sessions annually. There will be breakaway sessions, of course, that happen in between, so that we're not just having something once a year and then there's nothing in between. So the arts conversations and all of these other conversations that we said we'd had, we'll have those conversations and we see what we can crystallize. But thank you very much once again, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a wonderful afternoon, a lovely weekend, and keep leading with the soul. Thank you. It's a winner, man.